You're listening to the CyberLex Leadership Podcast, the home of serious CISA learners and future audit leaders. If you want more than memorization, if you want to think, reason, and operate like a true IS auditor, this is where serious auditors are made. In CISA Domain 4, availability and capacity management look simple on the surface, but the exam tests the deeper governance behind them. Most learners think capacity issues are technical problems, but CISA cares about control design, monitoring, and accountability. Today's episode explores a scenario every IT auditor eventually encounters, a system that is always almost failing, yet no one is doing anything about it. This is episode 13, the database. That was always running hot. Capacity and availability show up repeatedly in Domain 4 because they affect business continuity, reliability, service level performance, incident patterns, operational resilience. CISA isn't testing whether you know how databases work. It's testing whether you understand capacity planning controls, such as thresholds, monitoring effectiveness, trend analysis, alerting, SLA compliance, scaling strategies, governance over resource planning. One of the biggest CISA traps is, the system is functioning, so controls are effective. But ISACA teaches the opposite. A system can function while still being one failure away from outage. This is why episodes like today matter. They reveal the difference between operations thinking, examiner thinking, leadership thinking. The scenario. You are halfway into an IT operations audit. A core database supporting customer transactions has been showing 90 to 95% CPU utilization for the last 6 months. When you ask operations about it, they say, "Oh yeah, it's always been like that. But it hasn't crashed yet, so we're fine." You review the monitoring dashboard. CPU near the ceiling. Memory consistently spiking. Disk input-output bottlenecks. Slow queries during peak hours. You check the incident logs. No tickets, no alerts, no escalations. You ask when capacity was last reviewed. They answer, "It's on our backlog. We've been meaning to upgrade it." You ask about capacity forecasting. "We haven't done one this year." You ask about SLA performance. There are no formal service level agreements for this system. The database is still running, but it's running on luck, not governance. This is exactly the kind of risk CISA expects auditors to identify. A junior auditor usually responds like this: "If it hasn't crashed, maybe it's okay." This feels like an IT operations issue, not an audit issue. Maybe the monitoring team knows what they're doing. Is high CPU always a problem? They focus only on current performance, not future risk. They look at the indicator, but not the pattern. Most juniors don't understand that CISA tests risk emerging over time, not just immediate failures. Audit leaders instantly recognize structural problems. 1. Lack of proactive monitoring. If utilization is consistently high and no alerts exist, monitoring thresholds are not calibrated. 2. Lack of capacity planning controls. Where is the forecast? Where is the scaling plan? Where are the performance metrics? 3. Lack of SLA commitments. Without SLAs, there is no measurable performance expectation. 4. No incident reporting. A system running near failure should generate trend analysis, not silence. 5. People have normalized the risk. Comfort with chronic degradation is a classic operational anti-pattern. Leaders understand this database is not just overloaded, it represents a broken governance loop. Here is where most exam takers struggle. They think CISA wants them to tune the database, adjust CPU allocations, review technical logs, but the exam is testing. Are capacity metrics reviewed regularly? Are thresholds defined and aligned with business needs? Are alerts configured? Are incidents logged? Are service level agreements defined and monitored? Is scaling proactive or reactive? The correct answers often sound like: review capacity monitoring thresholds, assess whether performance metrics meet SLA requirements, evaluate the adequacy of capacity planning processes. CISA rewards governance, not troubleshooting. A real auditor collects both quantitative and qualitative evidence. Example 1. Monitoring thresholds. Are alerts configured at 70%, 80%, 90%? 2. Trend reports. 6-month utilization graphs. Peak versus off-peak analysis. 3. Capacity planning documents. Forecasts. Resource projections. Approved budgets. 4. SLA performance reports. Downtime. Degradation. Response time commitments. 5. Incident history. Any slowdowns reported? Tickets closed without explanation. 6. System architecture. Single point of failure. Load balancing. Failover design. 7. Operations governance. Meeting minutes. Escalation workflows. Review frequency. This is where we teach you what real IT auditors actually do. Why does this matter? Risk of system outage. A system near capacity is one traffic spike away from failure. Financial impact. Database supporting customer transactions affects revenue, SLAs, and customer satisfaction. Operational risk. Lack of monitoring. Lack of visibility. Lack of control. Reputational risk. Customers don't see CPU graphs, they see failed transactions. Governance failure. No forecast. No SLA. No escalation. No accountability. This is a high risk due to likelihood and impact. Systems rarely fail suddenly. They fail slowly, and teams fail to notice. Capacity is not about performance, it's about preparation. Audit leaders don't look at whether a system works today, they look at whether it can survive tomorrow. You've just sharpened your audit judgment, and that's how serious auditors are made. For deeper mastery, explore the CISA Gold Standard series on Amazon. We don't just help you pass, we help you become someone the field can rely on.